Good afternoon. We'll call the meeting of the Allegheny County Board of Legislators to order for March 27, 2024. Please rise as we're led in the Pledge of Allegiance by Legislator Gary Barnes.
Fellow legislators, please join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain upstanding as we're led in invocation by Legislator Jim Rumfeld.
Dear Lord and Heavenly Father, I'd like to thank you for letting us all gather here today safely. I'd like to ask you to please be with us and help us with our judgment and serving you as well as the people of Allegheny County. Please be with all of our first responders and military. Please be with the people in the foreign wars right now and keep them safe. God, please give us the ability to think straight and make correct and right decisions for our county. Thank you. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Barnes.
Present.
Mrs. Burdick. Here. Mr. Curran.
Here.
Mr. Sear. Mr. Demick. Mr. Fanton.
Here.
Mrs. Hanchett. Here. Mr. Harris.
Here.
Mr. Havey.
Here.
Mr. Healy.
Here.
Mr. Rickey.
Here.
Mrs. Ricketts Swales.
Here.
Mrs. Root.
Here.
Mr. Rumfeld.
Here.
Mr. Stockin. Here. 13 present, 2 absent.
Thank you.
You were provided a copy of the board meeting minutes of March 13th. At this time, we need a motion to approve those minutes.
Motion made by Legislator Havey, seconded by Legislator Rickey. Any additions or corrections? If not, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Those are carried.
You were also provided a copy of the Committee of the Whole meeting minutes of March 20th, and we need a motion to approve those minutes.
Motion made by Legislator Rickey and seconded by Legislator Ricketts Swales. Additions or corrections? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? And those are approved. This portion of the meeting is designated for public comment. Are there any members of the public today that wish to address the board? Someday. You don't count, Mike. Yes, sir. Okay, the agenda indicates privilege of the floor for the Farm Bureau. The stated representative from the Farm Bureau I'm not seeing. Are there any other members of the Farm Bureau that wish to address the board this afternoon? Mr. Chrisman, not Mr. Chrisman. Okay, if not, let's do this to keep it clean for the county attorney. Let's make a motion to take the agenda out of order, and we'll skip the first privilege of the floor and move on to the second privilege of the floor. Someone want to make that motion? Mr. Rumfeld, second by Mr. Fanton. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, that's carried. So at this time, I'd like to ask up Southern Tier Library System Director Brian Hildreth and representatives from the library system to the front, please. Welcome, welcome. Mr. Hildreth and his fellow librarians are here to celebrate Library Week with us, and I'm going to turn the podium over to him. Welcome.
Good afternoon, everyone. I just want to thank Chairman Harris for allowing us to be here, and I want to thank the entire legislature for allowing us the floor and this opportunity to celebrate National Library Week here in Allegheny County. I'd like to introduce my colleagues. This is Tina Dalton. She's the director of the Cuba Circulating Library. This is Keturah Capadonia. She's the outreach consultant at Southern Tier Library System and lives in Wellsville. Beck Cronk, she is the library director at the 20th Century Club Library in Almond. And then we have Sarah Trump, who is the director at the Friendship Free Library. And at the end is Roxanne Baker, who is the director of the Wide Awake Club Library in Fillmore. I've been able to be in this room multiple times to present on the work of libraries. And I've lived in Allegheny County for 19 years now. And one of the things that I first learned when I came to the area is how much Allegheny County residents love libraries. I had the privilege of being the director of the Wellsville Library for almost 9 years. And as soon as I took that position, people came from all over the community to tell me how much they appreciated the services that were provided through the David A. Howe Public Library. And it was evident by the number of people that came through the doors. The other thing that I quickly learned as I started to work with colleagues throughout all the other 16 libraries in Allegheny County is how much all the other Allegheny County how much all the other Allegheny County residents loved all the other 16 libraries in Allegheny County. And I was driving here from my offices in Corning. I had a meeting out in Elmira today at the Steele Memorial Library, and I made the trek here, and I was trying to think about the number of libraries that are located on Main Street here in Allegheny County. And 15 of 17 libraries are on Main Street and are 17 communities. And the other 2 libraries are just short of Main Street's footsteps. And I think that says a lot. That was intentional. That was by design. Most of our libraries were founded by the mothers, wives, and daughters of our communities. And we have to owe them a lot of gratitude because they put a lot of effort and time in making certain that those institutions are here. Our libraries do amazing things. I see it every single day. When we go back to traditional library services, just upholding democratic principles of providing informational resources and books and materials for people to enlighten themselves and to educate themselves and to continually educate themselves beyond secondary school and elementary school and college. And they also provide amazing programs and services that bring people together to celebrate life within the communities that we all live in. And even in most recent years, we've learned that libraries are also a safety net for a lot of our residents. The county provides amazing resources to our community members, for a lot of community members that just don't have the means to make it from one day to the next. And we're learning that libraries are also a space that provide needs for those community members as well. I think it's work that we all take great pride in every single day. We get to see the amazing faces of all of our community members, and we make sure that we step up to the plate to provide them equitable services with very limited resources. I just want to thank all of you for taking just this moment in time and space to recognize the work of our public servants within the public libraries all across Allegheny County. Thank you for giving us the floor just to say these words. And also, please continue to support us in our work. We care about what we do. We don't get a lot in return for doing it, but we care about it. We think about it every single day and how we can engage with our community members and make our community a wonderful place to live. Thank you very much for your time. And again, thank you for celebrating this event with us this week.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Brian. All right, so side note here. Mr. Hildreth has been coaching my daughter soccer since she was little. And every year now we're starting a tradition of doing this proclamation, and I have just the outside hope that it might affect her playing time. It didn't work last year, but maybe this year. I mean, I know skill's involved too, and I get it, Coach. I'm not.
She's a starter.
Okay. If you guys would indulge me as I read this proclamation into the record. Whereas libraries provide the opportunity for everyone to pursue their passions and engage in lifelong learning, allowing them to live their best life. And whereas libraries have long served as trusted institutions for all members of the community, regardless of race, creed, ethnicity, ability, sexual orientation, gender identity, or socioeconomic status. And whereas libraries strive to develop and maintain programs and collections that are as diverse as the populations they serve and ensure equity and access for all. And whereas libraries adapt to the ever-changing needs of their communities, continually expanding their collections, services, and partnerships. And whereas libraries play a critical role in the economic viability of communities by providing internet and technology access, literacy skills, and support for job seekers, small businesses, and entrepreneurs. And whereas libraries are accessible and inclusive places that promote a sense of local connection, advancing understanding, civic engagement, and shared community goals. And whereas libraries are cornerstones of democracy, promoting the free exchange of information and ideas for all. And whereas libraries, librarians, and library workers are joining library supporters and advocates across the nation to celebrate National Library Week, now therefore I, W. Brooke Harris, Chairman of the Allegheny County Board of Legislators, hereby proclaim April 7 to 13, 2024 as Library Week in Allegheny County, and encourage all residents to visit their library to explore the wealth of resources available. Thanks for you. Thank you very much. You guys can stay right there. I'll pull this out of the way.
Everybody put your leg on. All right. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. I'll be halfway turn. Switch ears. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
Thanks again.
You'll laugh when you
Okay, seeing no volunteers from the Farm Bureau. I am a lapsed member of the Farm Bureau. I haven't renewed my membership this year, but I think you are a member. Okay, good. I will read the proclamation into the record. Okay. Whereas March signifies a national celebration of the importance of food and agriculture in the United States, as it provides almost everything we eat and use every day. This month we recognize and celebrate the diversity and abundance provided by New York's farms and our growing food and agricultural sector and the contributions of Allegheny County's family farmers. Whereas New York State is home to over 33,000 farms producing some of the world's best food and beverages, located on or close to about 20% of the state's land areas and 6,900,000 acres of operated farmland. And whereas the agricultural industry in New York State contributed more than $5.7 billion in agricultural economy sales to the New York economy each year, and whereas with farmland occupying nearly 1/4 of New York State's land area, agriculture also promotes New Yorkers' quality of life in other ways, including providing access to fresh, locally sourced food, preserving open space, and enhancing communities through farmers markets and other such activities. And whereas recognizing the month of March as Agriculture Month in Allegheny County provides the opportunity for all residents in Allegheny County and New York to better appreciate agriculture's breadth and beauty, how food and fiber products are produced, and the role agriculture plays in providing safe, abundant, and affordable products. And whereas commemorating Agriculture Month will build awareness of the benefits of the agricultural industry in Allegheny County and encourage young people to consider agriculture as a career. And furthermore, I urge all New Yorkers to join me in recognizing the importance of our food and agriculture industry, to thank a farmer for providing the food we eat, and to help celebrate every month with meals made from a variety of New York State products. Now, therefore, I, W. Brooke Harris, Chairman of the Allegheny County Board of Legislators, do hereby proclaim the month of March 2024 as Agriculture Month in Allegheny County, and we will make sure that a copy of this gets forwarded to the Farm Bureau, and I'm sure they will be appreciative of that, and we'll see them next time they're in town. Anything on our desks this afternoon?
Yes, on your desk is a copy of the April 2024 calendar. There has been one change made on the third Wednesday, April 17th. The Committee of the Whole meeting has been changed to a public safety work session at 10 a.m. Are there any additional changes? Also on your desk, or actually they were provided electronically, are the 2023 annual reports from the county attorney, county clerk, cooperative extension, information technology, public works, and weights and measures. And I do believe that some of those department heads are present this afternoon. And these will also be posted on our website. We received a meeting notice from the New York State Board on Electric Generation Siting and the Environment announcing a meeting on Tuesday, March 26th to consider a petition for rehearing that was filed by Cattaraugus County regarding the application of Alley Cat Wind Energy for a certificate of environmental compatibility and public need. We received correspondence from former County Attorney Daniel Guiney's family, thanking the board for its expressions of sympathy regarding the passing of Mr. Guiney. Impact Friends, we received a copy of Impact Friends Group 2023 Annual Report and Save the Date flyer announcing a new bridge ribbon cutting event on April 25th, and that material was emailed to you. Chairman Harris read the proclamation declaring March as Agriculture Month in Allegheny County, and he also read the proclamation declaring April 7th through the 13th as Library Week in Allegheny County. Chairman Harris will also be proclaiming April 1st through the 7th as Public Health Week in Allegheny County. Whereas the week of April 1st through the 7th, 2024 is National Public Health Week, and the theme is Protecting, Connecting, and Thriving. We are all public health. And whereas the goal of National Public Health Week in 2024 is to recognize the contributions of public health in improving the health of the people of the United States and achieving health equity. And whereas public health organizations use National Public Health Week to educate public policy makers and public health professionals on issues that are important to improving the health of the people of the United States. And whereas there is a significant difference in health status, such as obesity, poor mental health, and drug use among people living in rural areas compared with people living in urban areas, and this variance increases because rural residents are often more likely to face social detriments that negatively impact health, such as poverty, transportation barriers, and lack of economic opportunity. And whereas many of the leading causes of death for individuals in the United States result from chronic conditions, which are among the most common, costly, and preventable of all health challenges. And whereas public health professionals help communities prevent, prepare for, withstand, and recover from the impact of a full range of health threats, including disease outbreaks, natural disasters, and disasters caused by human activity. And whereas public health action, together with scientific, technological, and vaccine advances, have played a major role in reducing, preventing, and in some cases eliminating the spread of infection diseases. And whereas in communities across the United States, individuals are changing the way they care for their health by avoiding tobacco use, eating healthier, increasing physical activity, and preventing unintentional injuries at home and in the workplace. And whereas by supporting our nation's public health system, we can build on the successes of the past and establish the solid foundation needed for a healthier nation in the future. Now therefore, I, W. Brooke Harris, Chairman of the Allegheny County Board of Legislators, by virtue of the authority vested in him by the laws of Allegheny County, do hereby proclaim the week of April 1st through the 7th as Public Health Week in 2024 in Allegheny County, and call upon the people of Allegheny County to observe this week by helping our families, friends, neighbors, co-workers, and leaders better understand the value of public health in supporting great opportunities to adopt preventive lifestyle habits.
Thank you. Resolutions?
Resolution intro number 10924. I understand that this resolution is going to be brought off the table today. Will require a motion and a second to bring it off the table.
Mr. Chairman, 10924 was tabled on 22924. It involves Justice Works LLC. I would like to move that that be brought off the table and brought forward for consideration.
I'll second
Motion to pick up off the table made by Legislator Havey, seconded by Legislator Rumfelt. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? And is up for consideration. A motion to approve made by Legislator Havey, seconded by Legislator Rumfelt. Discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? And that's approved. We need a roll call vote on that? Roll call.
It's a contract.
Yes, okay. Let's back up and do roll call.
Mr. Havey,
Yes.
Mr. Healy,
Yes.
Mr. Ricky,
Yes.
Mrs. Ricketts Swales,
Yes.
Mrs. Root,
Yes.
Mr. Rumfeld, Mr. Stocken, Mr. Barnes,
Aye.
Mrs. Burdick,
Yes.
Mr. Curran,
Yes.
Mr. Fanton,
Yes.
Mrs. Hanchett,
Yes.
Mr. Harris.
Yes.
13 ayes, 2 absent.
Approved.
Resolution intro number 15524. Refunding bond resolution of the County of Allegheny, New York, adopted March 27, 2024, authorizing the issuance pursuant to Section 90.1 of the Local Finance Law of refunding bonds to be designated substantially public improvement refunding serial bonds and providing for other matters in relation thereto and the payment of the bonds to be refunded thereby. This resolution is being offered by the Ways and Means Committee and has committee approval.
Motion made by legislator Stocken, seconded by legislator Fanton. Discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Havey,
Yes.
Mr. Healy,
Yes.
Mr. Ricky,
Yes.
Mrs. Ricketts Swales,
Yes.
Mrs. Root,
Yes.
Mr. Rumfeld,
Yes.
Mr. Stocken,
Yes.
Mr. Barnes,
Aye.
Mrs. Burdick,
Yes.
Mr. Curran,
Yes.
Mr. Fanton,
Yes.
Mrs. Hanchett,
Yes.
Mr. Harris.
Yes.
13 ayes, 2 absent.
Resolution's approved.
Resolution intro number 15624, approval of memorandum of agreement between the County of Allegheny and the AFSCME New York Council 66 Local 2574. This resolution is being offered by the Personnel and Ways and Means Committees and has both committees' approval.
Motion's made by legislator Ricketts Swales, seconded by legislator Ricky. Discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Havey,
Yes.
Mr. Healy,
Yes.
Mr. Ricky,
Yes.
Mrs. Ricketts Swales,
Yes.
Mrs. Root,
Yes.
Mr. Rumfeld,
Yes.
Mr. Stocken, Mr. Barnes,
Aye.
Mrs. Burdick,
Yes.
Mr. Curran,
Yes.
Mr. Fanton,
Yes.
Mrs. Hanchett,
Yes.
Mr. Harris.
Yes.
13 ayes, 2 absent.
Resolution's approved.
Resolution intro number 15724. A resolution designating the County of Allegheny as the lead agency for the New York State Environmental Quality Review of the 8-year review of Agricultural District Number 1 and its proposed modification and continuation. This resolution is being offered by the Resource Management Committee and has committee approval.
Motion made by legislator Curran, seconded by legislator Hanchett. Discussion? This resolution can be voice voted. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? That's approved.
Resolution intro number 15824, creation of one temporary full-time position of Director of Weights and Measures for the Department of Weights and Measures. This resolution is being offered by the Public Safety and Ways and Means Committees and has both committees' approval.
Motion to approve made by legislator Havey, seconded by legislator Rumfeld. Discussion?
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Stocken?
I would like to offer an amendment to this resolution, changing the date from May 1 to April 1.
Okay. There is a motion to amend. Is there a second? Seconded by legislator Root. Discussion on the amendment. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Amendment is carried. And the resolution, is there any further discussion? As amended, Mr. Healy.
Yes, I want to give my compliments to the county administrator and the whole her whole team there for all their diligence on this position as part of our succession and transition program. Looking forward as to some of our positions, what to do with them and how to fill them, and to always keeping our eye on the ball and then looking to the future. Thank you.
Thank you. Further discussion? Roll call?
Mr. Havey,
Yes.
Mr. Healy,
Yes.
Mr. Ricky.
Yes.
Mrs. Ricketts Swales,
Yes.
Mrs. Root,
Yes.
Mr. Rumfeld,
Yes.
Mr. Stockin. Mr. Barnes.
Aye.
Mrs. Burdick,
Yes.
Mr. Curran,
Yes.
Mr. Fanton,
Yes.
Mrs. Hanchett,
Yes.
Mr. Harris.
Yes.
13 ayes, 2 absent.
Resolution is approved.
Resolution intro number 15924, appointment of one Allegheny County Farm Bureau member to the Allegheny County Soil and Water Conservation District Board. This resolution is being offered by the Resource Management Committee and has committee approval.
Mr. Curran makes the motion, seconded by legislator Hanchett. Discussion? This resolution can be voice voted. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That's carried.
Resolution intro number 16024. Resolution setting date for public hearing on 8-year review of Agricultural District Number 1. This resolution is being offered by the Resource Management Committee and has committee approval.
Motion made by legislator Curran, seconded by legislator Hanchett. Discussion? This resolution can be voice voted. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And that's approved.
Resolution intro number 16124. Approval of grant application to the New York State Empire State Development Restore New York Rehabilitation Project for the County of Allegheny. This resolution is being offered by the Ways and Means Committee and has committee approval.
Motion made by legislator Stockin, seconded by legislator Fanton. Discussion? Roll call?
Mr. Havey,
Yes.
Mr. Healy.
Yes.
Mr. Ricky.
Yes.
Mrs. Ricketts Swales.
Yes.
Mrs. Root.
Yes.
Mr. Stockin. Yes. Mr. Barnes.
Aye.
Mrs. Burdick.
Yes.
Mr. Curran.
Yes.
Mr. Fanton.
Yes.
Mrs. Hanchett.
Yes.
Mr. Harris.
Yes.
12 ayes, 3 absent.
Resolution's approved.
Resolution intro number 16224. Resolution setting date for a public hearing on a grant application seeking a $200,000 grant under New York State Empire State Restore New York Rehabilitation Project for the rehabilitation of 4 vacant properties in Allegheny County. This resolution is being offered by the Ways and Means Committee and has committee approval.
Mr. Stockin makes the motion, seconded by Mr. Fanton. Discussion? Roll call?
Mr. Havey,
Yes.
Mr. Healy,
Yes.
Mr. Ricky,
Yes.
Mrs. Ricketts Swales.
Yes.
Mrs. Root,
Yes.
Mr. Stockin,
Yes.
Mr. Barnes,
Aye.
Mrs. Burdick,
Yes.
Mr. Curran,
Yes.
Mr. Fanton,
Yes.
Mrs. Hanchett,
Yes.
Mr. Harris.
Yes.
12 ayes, 3 absent.
Resolution's approved.
Resolution intro number 16324. Acceptance of insurance payment from the New York Municipal Insurance Reciprocal and appropriation of funds to risk retention accounts. This resolution is being offered by the Ways and Means Committee and has committee approval.
Motion made by legislator Stockin, seconded by Mr. Fanton. Discussion? Roll call?
Mr. Havey,
Yes.
Mr. Healy,
Yes.
Mr. Ricky.
Yes.
Mrs. Ricketts Swales.
Yes.
Mrs. Root.
Yes.
Mr. Stockin. Mr. Barnes.
Aye.
Mrs. Burdick.
Yes.
Mr. Curran.
Yes.
Mr. Fanton.
Yes.
Mrs. Hanchett.
Yes.
Mr. Harris.
Yes.
12 ayes, 3 absent.
Resolution's approved.
Resolution intro number 16424 was withdrawn before the meeting. Resolution intro number 16524. Approval of a road use agreement between the County of Allegheny and Alley Cat Wind Energy LLC for the Department of Public Works, authorizing the chairman of the board to execute said agreement. This resolution is being offered by the Public Works Committee and has committee approval.
Motion made by legislator Fanton, seconded by legislator Ricky. Discussion? Roll call?
Mr. Havey,
Yes.
Mr. Healy,
Yes.
Mr. Ricky.
Yes.
Mrs. Ricketts Swales.
Yes.
Mrs. Root,
Yes.
Mr. Stockin. Mr. Barnes,
Aye.
Mrs. Burdick.
Yes.
Mr. Curran,
Yes.
Mr. Fanton. Mrs. Hanchett,
Yes.
Mr. Harris.
Yes.
12 ayes, 3 absent.
Resolution's approved.
Resolution intro number 16624, approval of agreement between the County of Allegheny and Cornell Cooperative Extension for public benefit services, authorizing the chairman of the board to execute said agreement. This resolution is being offered by the Resource Management Committee and has committee approval.
Motion made by legislator Curran, seconded by legislator Hanchett. Discussion? Roll call?
Mr. Havey,
Yes.
Mr. Healy,
Yes.
Mr. Ricky.
Yes.
Mrs. Ricketts Swales.
Yes.
Mrs. Root,
Yes.
Mr. Stockin.
Yes.
Mr. Barnes,
Aye.
Mrs. Burdick.
Yes.
Mr. Curran,
Yes.
Mr. Fanton,
Yes.
Mrs. Hanchett,
Yes.
Mr. Harris.
Yes.
12 ayes, 3 absent.
The resolution's approved.
Yes, that was covered.
Okay. How would you prefer the audit today?
Collectively and by totals, please.
Collectively and by totals, moved by legislator Stockin, seconded by legislator Fanton. All those in favor say aye. Opposed? That carries.
General government support, $3,800,373.83. Education, $415,495.60. Public safety, $68,389.23. Health, $154,717.80. Bus transportation, $98,956.36. Economic assistance and opportunity, $925,532.28. Culture and recreation, $3,417.14. Home and community services, $27,940.31. Employee benefits, $6,443.99. Our general fund totaled $5,501,266.54. Our payroll and taxes totaled $1,250,740.52. Our capital fund totaled $248,376.55. Our other funds totaled $430,828.84 for a grand total of $7,431,212.45.
Is there a motion to approve the audit? Motion made by legislator Havey, seconded by legislator Ricky. Discussion? Mr. Barnes?
Yes, I just want to suggest that our treasurer explain to the listening public what that $3 million is.
Okay, that $3 million that's on the audit for the treasurer's account is the repayment of unpaid taxes to the schools and villages to make them whole for the amounts that they did not collect during their collection period of last year. By law, we have to mail those out by April 1.
Thank you. I'm sure the public would like to know why the expense this month is so much higher, and that's the reason I asked you to do that. Thank you.
You're welcome. That runs about $3.5 million a year.
Further discussion? Roll call?
Mr. Havey,
Yes.
Mr. Healy?
Yes.
Mr. Ricky?
Yes.
Mrs. Ricketts Swales?
Yes.
Mrs. Root?
Yes.
Mr. Stockton?
Yes.
Mr. Barnes?
Aye.
Mrs. Burdick?
Yes.
Mr. Curran?
Yes.
Mr. Fanton?
Yes.
Mrs. Hanchett?
Yes.
Mr. Harris?
Yes.
12 ayes, 3 absent.
Audit's approved. Is there anything for the good of the order today?
Mr. Harris.
Legislator Burdick?
I'd just like to thank the Health Department for the display out back on the table. If anybody hasn't seen it yet, there's a lot of good information that they've put together back there, and I'd like to thank them for doing that. Thank you.
Should we be insulted by the number of children's books out there on the table? Mr. Healy?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Given that it's Library Week and you did your proclamation, I'd like to point out that about a month and a half ago, I had a chance to visit one of our local libraries, not in my hometown, not even in my district, but in the town of Scioto. It's right there on Main Street in Scioto. And of course, you probably anybody that goes by it's probably familiar with it because it's a fairly new facility and very modern looking. But we had I'm involved in the county Legion. We had the state commander was here, and we took him and all his other officers on the state level. That was one of our stops. And the reason we stopped there is they have the Jason Dunham room there, and it was a day that the Scioto Library is normally closed, but the librarian is also the librarian in Little Genesee and lives down in the town of Genesee, came, and the Dunham family came, and I think everybody was obviously moved by the room and the memorial to Jason, and the other thing I learned a lot about the library from my visit too in general, and I know some towns have a problem filling their town historian positions, and the library there has taken on the unique responsibility of serving in that role. So they are actually the town historian or the librarian, maybe perhaps is, or maybe the board is, I don't know exactly, but they serve in that role and that function. And they offer a lot of different services which would encourage more people to visit the library, like they do photos, they do family photos for Christmas cards at Christmas time and things of this nature. And of course, I want to give a shout out to my colleague, Mrs. Root, who is the head of the board, library board, right? So thank you and congratulations to all the staff and your board.
Thank you. Ma'am?
Thank you, Mr. Healy. That was really nice of you to do that. We did talk about that and a follow-up on the meeting with the Legion there, and there was quite a few people there, and they were moved with that. I just want to say that we, in the town of Scioto, we have volunteers who come and do we don't have a paid historian, but what the library has done is put aside some room for historical presentations, but we rely on volunteers in our community to come and keep those up. But it's a great space, and the libraries are a good source for all of our communities.
Thank you.
And I'd just add, in case, I'm sure everybody on the board knows it, but the public, there may be some people that aren't familiar why there's a room there, and a memorial to Jason is he's a Congressional Medal of Honor recipient who succumbed to his injuries suffered in the war, and we should never forget our veterans. Thank you.
Thank you. Anything else for the good of the order? If not, would anyone care to make a motion to adjourn? Motion made by Legislator Ricky, seconded by Legislator Hanchett. All those in favor say aye. Opposed?